Live from our home studios across North America. Please welcome the hosts of DevCentral Connect's Top 5, Buu, Jason, Aubrey, and yours truly, I'm Peter. Welcome to the show, gang. We're thrilled to have you here today. This is DevCentral Connects, sponsored by community.f5.com. That's the DevCentral homepage. Become a member today. It's free, and you get access to a whole bunch of cool stuff, including the DevCentral Connects group. Now, that's a private group. You got to join to get in. Why don't we bring the fellas on right now? Let's fill up those boxes with lovely faces.
Morning.
How's it going, gang? You know, I forgot to tell our audience, we broadcast live every Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's where I live, in the Pacific, as does Boo. I think, are you considered Pacific time there in Vancouver?
I am in Pacific time. I'm even on an island just off of the mainland of British Columbia here, and I'm still in Pacific time.
Nice.
Not island time. Island time, sort of.
Yeah, island time's a little different. We both know that.
It's
so,
kind of relative, right?
Yeah. Showing up 20 minutes late is Hawaiian style.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of, you know, we have, at least here in the States, we have the Independence Day holiday coming up. But, you know, considering we have a Canadian on the team, and I'm native Hawaiian, so, you know, I kind of have my own feelings about sovereign, independent nations. So let's avoid that hornet's nest, but better, we might have asked this. I don't know if we did this last year sometime, Jason, but we're obviously heading into the summer. We hit about 103 yesterday. We're already at, what does it say, 87 right now at 8:30 in the morning. So what would be your favorite frozen dessert to cool off in the summertime? I got the big look from Aubrey, so why don't we start with you?
Shave ice.
Shave ice.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I remember going down to Big Beach, Little Beach in on Maui, and and getting some really nice varied shave ice, and such a powerful memory that even my kids love shave ice. Anytime we see shave ice anywhere, it could be in Hawaii or not, they're always looking to stop for that. And for me, it's great too. It's refreshing, not too sweet and syrupy. Like, I sweat a lot, so I don't want something really syrupy and sugary. It's a great option, nice and refreshing.
Wyola shave ice is the best. And for those of you who don't know what actually shave ice is, so you can think of a snow cone and the little bits, you know, little biteable pieces of ice. So the ice in shave ice is even smaller and literally shaved off a block of ice, and it melts, literally melts in your mouth. Root beer is my favorite flavor. What about you, Boo?
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned, so I was going to go with a Dairy Queen Blizzard, and hopefully Dairy Queen is found fairly internationally. I know when I was in London, so in England, there was Dairy Queen. I know there's Dairy Queen in all across North America, but hopefully that applies to many other parts of the world as well. But I like a Blizzard. But now that you mentioned shaved ice, and I was just in Hawaii a couple months ago, I'm thinking that is probably the most refreshing for me. And shout out to someone named Brian McHenry, who got me on something called a Margaritaville, which creates shave ice. Now, it's meant for margaritas, but you could totally make shave ice and throw it into a cone off of that. And I haven't tried it yet. I need some syrups, I guess. But I'm going to put that on the to-do list to experiment and see if I can pull that off.
Nice. Boy, we got at least 2 out of 4 for shave ice. I already know what my answer is. Go ahead, Jason.
Actually, I don't really like frozen treats in the summertime. I'm too hot. I just drink water when I'm really, really hot. And I like ice cream in the wintertime. So.
Well, how about, I know back in the day when you and Wagnon would hit, 351 or the tower, you'd love the little rabbit dropping ice, though, to chew on, didn't you?
Yes. Ice, like a glass ice water is my go-to in the summer. Yes, I love. And I looked up that machine in the F5 tower. They have the rabbit poop ice machines. and it's got that perfect texture of ice, so you can just kind of crush it without breaking your teeth.
Yep.
And so it's like really good to chew. It's really good ice to chew.
What floor was that? How did we miss that, Boo?
They got them on every. Well, I don't know about every floor, but because I haven't really been out the tower too much, but at the old office they had them on every floor, and I looked up the price of that machine because I was like, man, I need one of those for home. Like $2,700. I was like, yeah, I don't need that machine that much
for clear rabbit poop. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
So I'm going to go with shave ice too, of course, since I'm one local boy. But my backup plan, if there is no shave ice, we have a little like shave ice machine, which a little contain. You freeze the ice, you drop it in, you spin the thing, and you get something like shave ice. But bomb pops, like if there's no shave ice available, and ring ding ding goes down the street, bomb pop it is. Woo!
Hey,
boy,
before we move on, I wanted to ask Nathan, are you translating the temperature for us, Nathan? Are you guys Celsius there in the UK, or are you still hanging with us Americans with the Fahrenheit scale? Curious minds want to know. But yeah, 65 degrees. That's not too. I mean, it's not bad. That's perfect. Like walking weather.
Walking.
Yeah, he translated.
Walking weather.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We got the translation. Indeed, he did. Yep, that happens. Yes, nice. Daniel. We're talking ice cream and temperatures. So yeah, we're actually in a cool spell. We're only hitting the mid 80s this week, but we've been over 100 with the heat index the last couple of weeks. So it's been a nice. We're outside and it was actually a little cool last night, and we dropped down into the low 60s. So it's nice.
Yeah, so if you want to drop your favorite frozen dessert or just treat during the hot summer months, wherever summer is where you live, you can toss those in the comments. And now we're going to hit our top 5. Top 5 is where we count down our most favorite pieces of content, articles, what have you, over the recent months. We love covering this every month. If there's a topic you'd like us to cover here on DevCentral Connects, you can also drop that in the comments along with your favorite shave ice flavor. So why don't we kick off number 1, which is always ironically
number 5.
All right. Number 5 for me this week is the CISA Security Reference Architecture 2.0. Now, for me, this one is kind of an important one because it is your tax dollars hard at work trying to make sure that we have kind of bare minimum standards across the board in the United States, anyways, for cybersecurity and any sort of cloud deployments that are out there. So this one, it looks like, thanks for pulling that up in the table of contents. We've got a couple of things that go really deep. This is a long document and a PDF, but the important things for me out of this document were number 1, that it exists. That's a fantastic thing. Number 2, they actually seem to have gotten on the ball pretty quickly. Version 1 of the document came out about a year ago. Version 2 is out now, and the most important thing here is its call out right up front for zero trust as kind of the go-forward standard. Zero trust architectures are going to be always preferred in any sort of secure implementation out there today. So if we kind of scroll past this, I'm looking at like even page 1 right on the intro. It's calling out for zero trust, improving critical infrastructure and cybersecurity. And if we go to page 2, the page right after that, we've got the purpose and scope. So for me, this is an important one. What are we looking at here? What does this document cover? Well, it's looking at shared services, cloud migration strategies, any sort of security posture, and really, as I mentioned there, calls out zero trust as the biggest piece of the pie right now, which I think for us at F5 is nice. We have had a zero trust network, network access solution out for quite some time, and have been very careful about announcing it as ZTNA versus zero trust architectures, which encompasses a little bit more. But, not to do too much in the way of a spoiler alert, but I think probably in our security show in the next couple of months, we'll be talking to Mr. Ken Aurora about how we get from that ZTNA to ZTA with ThreatStack. I think that now that the acquisition of ThreatStack is here at F5, we've got a whole new bag of tricks. So this document's great, especially if you're in Fed. Go take a look at it. It's out there as a reference for you.
Yeah, I saw that architecture, and who doesn't love a whole lot of pretty graphs? But behind the pretty graphs, there's a lot of helpful information. And I remember way back in my just routing and switching days, going out to download the NSA hardening guides and all that. They're always deeply helpful. And everybody's going to have some nuance of, well, I don't really think that's going to be helpful, or that's going to be super helpful. And that's why there's revisions to these types of documents. But it's a good start, right? And and this whole effort came out of the executive orders that Biden signed after the pipeline hack last year, right? That happened. What's that? A couple months before RSA last year, the Colonial hack. And so now you get to see. You often see the government not working, right? And so in this instance anyway, you see that, hey, there's actually meat behind the government said, hey, we actually need to do something about this. We did something about this, and here's some of the fruit. So
yeah, and it's not bad fruit either. That's the great news, right? It's actually a pretty good document from what I've seen.
Yep.
And I'm guessing. So I had a conversation with Peter Scheffler. You can see that video from RSA. We'll talk about that momentarily. But we have a video about what is zero trust. And I kind of had equated it to, at least with Scheffler, this whole idea was sort of, it reminds me a little bit of BYOD before this document, where everybody's idea of this particular term, how they implement it, was all different. How they understood it was all different. How they deployed it was all different. And it's finally nice to see some documentation on actually starting to put it in a cohesive form.
Agreed.
For sure.
2 agreed. No, 1 agreed. 1 for sure. Let's move on to numero.
Number 4.
I'm up for number 4. And as I foreshadowed about 45 seconds ago, we often talk about articles here. I often bring up F5 Labs articles and content, but this time around, this past month, I actually want to bring up videos. You're already on the channel. You might as well check it out after. So earlier this month, I was fortunate, actually, Buu and I were fortunate to attend RSA Conference 2022 in San Francisco. It was pretty fun being back out on the trade floor, doing some in-person interviews. And as you can see on the screen, this is the one with Mr. Scheffler talking about what is zero trust. Luckily, we had somebody we did trust to tell us all about zero trust. But Buu and I, we produced about, I think it was 10 or 12 videos. We did a whole bunch of, cool little fun short ones about Be a Force for and what's happening in the booth. We did our annual, it's not really annual. It's almost like every show where we show you how to find the booth. Now, the cool thing about that set list, if you will, is there are a couple 360 videos we did. One just walking through the exhibit hall, I should say. And it's kind of neat because you can just kind of pan around. You wear a headset and you can look down, look up, see if our shoelaces are tied and stuff like that. But it was a pretty fun time, eh, Buu?
Yeah, it was good. And you know what? I mean, from the DevCentral perspective and being there for the community, I think that's kind of what we were showing there, is that there's people involved as a community. We need to show up and we need to interact with each other, especially at security conferences, and being able to share those war stories that you might not share publicly in forums, the only way that you can get some of these stories is in person and talking to each other and in the hallway, the hallway track, as people would call it. So being able to have that kind of interaction again was a real highlight for me so far this year.
Yep. And we are planning, at least potentially as it stands now, a few of us from the DevCentral team, Aubrey's eyes are getting wide as I can see, will be at Black Hat in Vegas in about a month and a half to shoot some video. So, if you're at Black Hat, just kind of follow along over the next few weeks. We'll let you know where we're at. Get a selfie. We'll be bringing some tchotchkes like DevCentral stickers, maybe even some of these DC t-shirts to give away that week. It's coming up. What is that? Second week in August. We'll just put it that way rather than
9th through 11th, I think.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Yeah. I'm hoping there are more
from your
lockpicks.
guys' experience at RSA, you talked about the 360 videos and those are impressive just watching on your screen. But if you do have the VR headsets, I mean, it was just, it was really like I was walking through the hall with you guys, having my Oculus headset on, and I'm just like looking around the hall as you guys are walking through the hall, and and the video is so good. It's like, man, I think I could count every pore on Buu's face if I really just wanted to take the time to do it.
Sorry about that.
I didn't say that was bad. It's just the video is so clear. It's like you can see. It's really like your own eyes are there walking. So kudos to you guys for capturing the experience, because it really was an experience that I felt was captured and I was there with you guys.
It's your description. There's a stark contrast from a shot Buu and I tried with. I had a camera mounted right here on my backpack and walked through the tower for a while, but all you saw was like the back of my head. So at least you could turn your head away with the 360. I like that.
And you know what? You highlight on a word that I've been using, right? Experience. With folks right now, it's going to be a hybrid world. I think we've all kind of come to that conclusion. Is some people are going to go out and do stuff, and some people might not want to. And we want to be inclusive of the folks that might not feel like they're ready to go out, or they might not be in a position where they can go out. Maybe budgets are cut in the company that they're at, and they can't make it to these conferences. So we want to bring community to you through video. If it's through a 360 video, great. Strap on a headset and follow along.
Yeah,
Next, we just need to. Oh, go ahead, Ob. Sorry.
I was just going to say my kids called that out as a major positive too. They said the 360 video stuff is nuts. So
yeah,
they love it.
We just got to add smell-o-vision to the next one around. Before we hit the middle part, we're about halfway through. Let's see what some of our friends out there are looking to have. We got Daniel talking about. That was the one talking about ice cream. I think he moved on to
kiwi ice cream.
Yeah, kiwi ice cream. Leap with the cool lemonade. We got Jeremiah with iced coffee. Daniel with the kiwi ice cream. What else we got?
I'll take you up on it, Daniel. I'll be there.
Nathan had his first iced coffee ever and is instantly a fan.
My kids are addicted to the iced coffees. I'm like, I don't drink coffee at all. Like, I drink soda, tea, but I don't drink coffee. I had one cup of coffee in my entire life, and that was in a Air Force ROTC interview, and I spit the sip all over my interviewer, the major that was interviewing me. Needless to say, I did not get that scholarship, but I wanted to look all grown up and professional, so I said, sure, I'll have a cup of coffee, and it's like
Ted Lasso style.
Yeah, exactly.
Orange whip, orange whip, orange whip. 3 orange whips. Name that movie. As we move on to the middle of the pack.
Number 3.
All right, so not to double up too much on RSA, but this particular article that I want to bring up has to do a little bit with RSA, and this is actually a partner spotlight that Greg Cower did. Greg is an amazing solution architect over on our business development team, and one of the partners that he works with is AppViewX, and AppViewX makes products that they make software that complement Big IP, among other vendors out there as well. But he did a little overview of the solution that they have for managing ADCs. And what we were able to do was at RSA, we were able to actually touch base with the AppViewX team because they were there and had a little chat with them. So if you scroll down to the bottom there, there's actually a video of that discussion. It's about 5 minutes long, but this solution solves problems for customers that where they're struggling to manage all of their applications as that sprawls across big IPs, and being able to centralize that into their management platform, including managing an application end to end, seeing the visibility and having observability into that application. And then also having certificate management, certificate lifecycle management, which was a common ask when I was out in the field of how do you manage certificates on a big IP? They keep expiring on me, and I find out like a day before it expires, and how do I get on top of this kind of stuff? And on top of that, it manages big IP and it manages Nginx in a single product, which is key for some of our customers as well. So that had just come out at the end of June, but after our top 5, I believe, last time. And so it still counts for, it came out in May, so still counts for the June top 5, I believe.
Well,
It's
you
our
got it
top
in
5,
anyway.
so we get to decide the rules and break them when we want to, right?
Yeah.
Straight up. And we love highlighting partners. That's for sure.
Yeah, and AppViewX has been around for a long time. I remember Joe Pruitt and I way back in the day at one of the agilities that we were at. We got to interview that team as well. So they've been, honing their craft in support of F5 technologies for a long time.
Love it.
And some more fans of the Dole Whip. Anybody got that movie reference? I know you're a big movie reference buff, Jason. Orange Whip, Orange Whip, Orange Whip. 3 orange whips.
Nope. I don't have that one.
It's killing me.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Maybe I'll give you a hint. As
Gonna leave us hanging?
The hint
3 amigos.
is that this particular crew, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was John Candy who said the line. They sat down at a table to then watch a show of a couple of blues musicians from Chicago.
Blues
We got a half
Brothers.
There you go.
Hmm.
Number
Blues
4.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brothers Blue.
There
Time
you
to
go.
lay. Hit the scene.
Number 2.
All right. Well, that's me. And because it's me, I messed up the switching. I'm so sorry. But it's me. Yeah. And what I have for this week is the Capture the Flag event that we had on DevCentral. And you did have to be a member of DevCentral to participate. And we had some great participation, and everybody kind of flew out of the gate on that. And then it was 3 days long. You had the opportunity to take on OWASP's Juice Shop application and hack it to pieces. And actually 3 of our MVPs were in the top 3 slots. And so Alex was number 1. Alex is BCT. I think he's here on the Capture the Flag thread, and he was number 1, not by too far ahead of Daniel, who's on the call today. Congrats, Daniel, for sitting in at number 2, and then Amini was number 3. So you got actually they're the top 3 in there, and they gave us some feedback on the event itself. Some of the tools that they used in how they went at it. A lot of what they used was just the developer tools built in to the browser, but use some other things as well for fuzzing. But I love events like that give people an opportunity to actually do something with tools and challenge the things that you think you understand. Challenge the things that you very much understand, but maybe there's nuances that shift or open doors to other things that you can hold on to for long term. So Capture the Flag events aren't always just about web app security. We're going to do some more of these in the future. So if you are not yet a member of DevCentral, community.f5.com, join the community and then join the DevCentral Connects group, and that's where we will post future capture the flag events. I'm actually going to build a few of them around Wireshark completely. So if your Wireshark skills are, on the shelf back behind you and you haven't opened Wireshark in a while, get back into Wireshark and we'll figure some things out. But I'm excited about doing some of those. And we'll do some other things that we can build around the F5 product line specifically. So, you'll have to be able to analyze or modify an iRule or deploy an iApp or fix an Nginx configuration and those kinds of things. And you'll get your flags out of that.
So nobody tried to like DOS the flag. It was a legitimate capture attempt at least.
The last one we did live at Agility, there was all kinds of that happening. In fact, the MVP team from DevCentral, they literally were like pulling cables from other teams' event or demo environment, and they were launching attacks against their stuff. But it was all open season, right? So yeah, they were playing some hardcore. With Mr. Wagnon was Doc Brown. That was at the Boston one where they did the Hack to the Future. And that was a lot of fun.
That's a great name for an event. Love it.
Yeah. That was, so maybe we can mention too, so if you're part of the group, we have all these agility labs that we just wrapped up. And so the group of us will kind of go over the labs, pick out a few, and then we'll throw on a little vote and a poll and see for the next community event, perhaps a hands-on event, then we'll do something around the agility labs that we now have available to us.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. They don't always have to be capture the flags. And we've done some labs in the past on DevCentral Next, and they were a lot of fun. We'll do some of those, on the Connects group on Community, and we'll do those with you. We'll walk through them. In fact, a lot of those labs I haven't done, so I'll be just as in the trenches with you as you are.
Little plug for the distributed cloud labs that are out there. Wow. Yeah. Talk about amazing work done by our colleague Eric Chen to get that thing started. And, of course, the distributed cloud team is also keeping that up now, too. So Coleman and Chaz, good work.
Nice.
Yep. Juice Shop is an app full of holes, no protection intact. But lately something's changed. The sign of the times. Juice Shop got itself some holes, and I'm gonna make it mine. As an interlude to the number.
Number one.
All right, this one's me. I had to be selfish on this one. I loved this whole covering a new strain of malware, right? F5 Labs is a wonderful differentiator for us at F5. I think that was one of those things that back in the past you'd hear people say, well, you're a networking company or something like that. But really, we have been a security company for a very, very long time as one of the biggest SSL vendors on the planet. And this article here proves exactly what kind of money we're sinking into security. So F5 Labs discovered a brand new strain of malware that hits Android primarily, and that's all that it's on right now, but tablets as well as phones. I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with Labs a little bit about this one. The idea is that it's a smishing attack. So for those of you who are familiar with phishing and maybe even spear phishing, smishing would be an SMS phishing attack. So the idea is pretty simple. You're sitting there with your phone, you're playing whatever game you got on your phone or doing your TikToks, and all of a sudden you get a text. You click on that text to install the latest crypto app to check your consolidated cryptocurrencies or whatever, and it looks exactly like the applications that it is trying to impersonate. So you end up clicking to install this thing. You install this application, and it literally puts a remote control on your phone. So even when there is a text back by the Google multi-factor authentication services, the smisher is able to intercept that 6-digit code and actually input it for themselves to install the malware on your phone. From there, the idea is pretty simple. They have access to pretty much every password you've got, your banking information, and on and on and on and on. So I guess, the moral of the story is be careful what you click for. That's really something that you want to make sure you're not just answering any text that comes to your phone. So I had to call my mom and say, hey, take it easy. Don't click on that stuff. But that was a heck of a find. And really congrats to Labs for finding a real mean one and getting the word out there before it really hit big.
Well, I also think a lot of people seem to, for some reason, believe that, the phones are not susceptible to malware, viruses, attacks, things like that. But they are just as vulnerable as any other thing connected to the internet.
Most definitely. I mean, you do get some measure of control as an app developer when you're doing this stuff, but at the same time, when you have, especially with something that is open source, I've been a big proponent of open source technology forever, but this is one of those situations where, the phone platform also being open source, gives the attackers a little bit of an easier time writing those attacks out. So that is a tough one for Android. We've covered a couple of really rough ones for Android over the past month. Actually, it's it's been tough.
We just had Labs on talking about the last one. It feels like just before leaving for this little trip here, I had to go get my son's iPhone screen replaced because it was cracked a little bit, wasn't working, and just the guy that was repairing the phone was even complaining about malware on phones as well, especially on Android devices. He was encountering a few, and he had a kid that had come in, and his phone was compromised, and overnight he had $5,000 in his bank account, and he could just see text messages of withdrawal, and over the course of a few hours, just that bank account was drained of $5,000. But they had root access to his phone, I guess. So any sort of SMS or anything like that his bank would have sent him to do two-factor into his bank account, it probably just goes straight to the attackers, and off they go, and there they are.
Wow.
It's funny with again, another Android one, not to pick on them, but coming up on us going to Black Hat. One of my buddies in the F5 SE community, Jesse Derone, he ended up talking to me about his first experience at a Black Hat. He was there for 5 minutes, and his phone had attached itself to a rogue access point, cellular access point that was there, and his phone was 100% owned in 5 minutes just from being on the floor.
Wow.
So, well,
I've never been to Black Hat or DEF CON and all that, but I've heard it's like get a burner phone, get a burner laptop, get burner cards. Don't take anything personal there at all, and you're going to be much better off.
Yep, living on the edge, going to Black Hat.
Yeah, definitely don't connect to anything you don't know. Looks like we're right up on time, fellas. Good show. If you enjoyed the show, please give it a like so others might enjoy it too, based on your recommendation. Also hit that subscribe button if shows like this, or Lightboard Lessons, or 90 Seconds of Security, or Ask the Experts, or any of that stuff. That sounds great. Let's subscribe. So we got an after show coming up. Head on over to community.f5.com. Hit the groups tab, community groups, and the DevCentral Connects group will be there momentarily if you want to continue the conversation with us. We like to not only do the one-to-many, but many-to-many, where we're just all chit-chatting. What do you say, fellas? Sound good? Sound good?
I like
Sound
it.
good. It
Sounds
all
great.
sounds good. Perfect. We want to give them a final wave as I count us out for my good buddy Aubrey, my good buddy Jason, and my good buddy Boo. I'm Peter, and we're with F5. Thanks for watching.